What's up, my guys? Welcome to a new episode of Crossout. We are looking at sideways hovers today because I don't know if a lot of people struggles with this, but I just want to do a few videos on some more advanced Crossout, so to say. Something like a sideways hovers, spaced armor, and all that stuff that you guys are asking me every once in a while if I want to cover just the basic stuff. Like, I'm no expert in any of this stuff. I use it in my videos, and I've built a few things like sideways, and I built more and more with spaced armor since I play more and more clan wars recently. So yeah, it's a pretty good opportunity for me to show you guys how I do it and what I do and all that stuff, to maybe help you out if you have any questions about it. I brought in my triple Prometheus hover here just for the example, because this is a pretty classic layout, and the layout that I would suggest that you guys use if it is the first time that you want to practice a hover, because like this is a hover that just turns well, performs well. The setup like this, you can lose the hover and you can still balance it out okay. I'm not even sure that I can show it here. Yep. As you can see, like we're in 3 hovers right now, and this one is still doing pretty good. So it's a pretty good basic layout, and also the smallest 4 hover layout that you're gonna get is this one. So I figured that is the best example to bring. So I think I'm gonna start up by actually just stripping down the build and then showing you step by step how I set it up. Alright, so I cleared out the entire build here and yeah, made it ready to sort of reconstruct. So let's just start out by like piece by piece and talk about what we do. Like, first of all, you're gonna need a frame and a cap, and you place it like this. Like, I like to put the frame like a bit further behind, so in case someone rams you from the front here, he's not gonna hit the frame. He's hopefully gonna hit the quantum, and if he deals AoE damage, he's still not gonna hit the frame. I extended the frame out one more, so that is hopefully gonna soak up some damage, but I'm gonna show you that later. And then next we're gonna go for a 2x6, followed up by another 2x6, and that's pretty much your layout. Like, on this you can fit 4 hovers, and that's the smallest you can actually go for a sideways hover. I just extended out another 2x6 frame in order to protect this bit if someone rams me from behind. If they hit that bit, we're gonna lose all 4 hovers. So that is one downside to this, and if you want to build a bigger one, yeah, I'd suggest using more pieces, but like smaller pieces, just to spread it out so you don't have all 4 hovers on just one bit of frame there. But next up we have the 4 hovers, as you can see. There we go. And that's a pretty basic layout. Like, if you're using, like, if you want to use this for high power score, you remove this and then slap on the Apollo right here, so that one sticks out there, but we're not gonna go like that. Next up we have the front here. As I was talking about, this is covered by a small buggy floor, so that, you know, there's a nice line here, and if someone impacts somewhere, it's gonna be on the buggy floor and not on the frame there, because if someone hits that frame, boom, it's all gone. Next up we just have some buggy engine covers. The reason that I use these is because they are really good at soaking up damage without like falling off too easily. If you take a cannon blast here, you're gonna take a lot of damage and you're gonna lose these. The good thing is, if a machine gun hits you, the damage is gonna pass through and hit the parts here, which means that you're gonna keep your front for longer. So if you face a cannon player later on, you still have this entire section protecting you, because most of the damage passed through. I'm ending it with a few snow ties here, and I want to say snow ties. I know they talked about decor items being changed, so you can't use it for spaced armor, but for now, as long as we can, I recommend getting a few snow ties, because they are so good for spaced armor. Anyways, back to the build. Now we have 2 fuel barrels here. There we go. I just put these in because I want to grind fuel when I just play. So that's totally up to you. You don't have to. But as you can see, they fit in here pretty nicely. Next up, we have the gun mounts. I use these frames for the same reason as I use frames here, because damage passes through them, so they are very hard to take off compared to something like if I was just using 2 braces from the Lunatics faction, something like that. A single machine gun hit would just strip them off, so you're gonna have these for longer. That's why I have them. And next up, as I said, the braces here, which I didn't want to use up here, but they're pretty good here Because the reason that I put these here is because I don't want to have the ammo right next up to the frame here. If I do that, a single cannon shot will have an AoE damage, and that AoE damage will, like, if the shot impacts right here, because that's where the frame is, the AoE damage is going to go all the way in here, which meaning that we're going to lose that frame. So, like, this is just some light version spaced ammo, and that just, like, if a shot hits us, that's just, if we bring up, oh, we have the end, I'm gonna show you later, but basically we're gonna have a layer of armor here, and if that shot hits us, then that shot will explode here, and then the frame will still be good because of the AoE. So that's the basic idea. But we're just gonna round off the rear here, which is a pretty, like, basic armor. I just want something that extends the armor out from the frames. And then we have these boas because they have a pretty wide profile, a pretty big item protecting the hovers. So if we take a shot in the rear, it's not going to impact there, and remove our hovers and possibly blow up our fuel tank. Next up, yeah, just some more deck items to protect the craft. Next up we have the side armor. There we go, and let's just repeat it over here. There it is, and that's what I'm talking about. So if we, like, if a shot lands there, none of this stuff will be impacted by the explosion. So that's, like, basic spaced armor. That's how it works. And the reason that we have that is, like I said, to protect this frame, because if we lose that frame, we're gone, like, we're dead. Next up, just some additional layers of armor here to protect the guns, because as you can see, this now also protect the buggy floors, because just because we cannot lose them doesn't mean we don't have to protect them, because they are, like, to cannon shots and stuff like that, they are still pretty weak, so we still have to protect them. Next up, we have the Scorched here, which is basically, again, as you can see, just to have an additional layer of armor if someone sneaks up behind us and tries to take out our guns. And lastly, we have some bumpers. The reason that I place these bumpers here, and the reason that I actually place them so high, as you can see if we bring in the weapons, is because when you do the hover setup like this, your craft is gonna tilt a tiny bit forward, as you can see, and that helps our gun depression, meaning that we can actually still shoot quite low because of the gun depression. If the gun depression wasn't like that, we would just be shooting straight forward. So that's something that really helps sideways hovers if you put the cabin at the front. And lastly, like, the most important thing about having a cabin here is probably that when you're running a full hover build, most builds will be very hard to control if you lose just one hover. Basically here, like, the cabin is protecting the hovers at all time, so no matter what we do, we're not gonna get those hovers off as long as we just keep our front towards the enemy. As you can see, like, I can try to hit the hovers here, but as you can see, it's just not happening. It literally cannot be done. So that's basically why you do it. Now I know that, like, if you get struck on the side here or something like that, yep, you do lose a hover. And as you can see, this is a bit front heavy, so it's actually more critical to lose a hover in the front than it is in the rear. But you should use your map awareness, and you should just be wait, because if you are getting attacked, as you can see, it's so stable when you lose a rear hover. But if you lose your front hovers, you've probably mispositioned yourself, considering where the enemy is. And now, having said that, watch me lose my front hovers when we actually test this thing. But that's pretty much it for the sideways hovering. Now next up is the controls, because you have to remap your controls. As you can see here, we have, like, this is what you do. Basically, your controls will be like this if you open it up right now and you just run basic hover. Sorry about the Facebook annotation. But what we're doing here when we do these sideways builds, as you can see, now my build is just the regular way, and I'm going front, but actually we're moving to the side. So we know that we have forward, we have to like make that strafe, because we're strafing right now if we look the correct way. So yeah, forward makes me strafe right, backwards makes me strafe left. Knowing that, I now know how to map my keys. Next up, we need to know what direction strafe puts us in. If I press E, that makes us go backwards. If I press Q, that makes us go forward. So we know that strafe left now has to be forward and strafe right has to be backwards. So if we go to settings, we go to controls, strafe left, forward, strafe right, backwards. And then forward made us go right, back made us go left. So strafe right, strafe left. If you decide for some reason to build your hover the other way around, you're just gonna have to remap the controls accordingly. Because you could have started out by placing the engine over here and make all of the hardware here. I think it's just a, like, whatever you prefer the most. 9 out of 10 builds on the exhibition is facing this way, so if you want to make it easy for everybody, just keep on doing that and you should be pretty good to go. But I feel like we should just get into some games and actually talk about how I control when I am playing in games. Now, as soon as you've remapped your controls, you should feel as if this is just a normal hover. It controls exactly like a normal hover. A few tips that I want to give you guys in order to control your hovers is that if you want to make a turn, don't just go forward and then turn, because that way you will have to kill all of your forwards momentum, which then becomes side momentum as soon as we turn. As you can see, I start gliding. So what I do is I press both my strafe button and my turn button at the same time. As you can see, that was a much nicer turn if you just do it like that. Let's just get this bro here. Because when you do that like that, you actually start thrusting. As you can see, if I strafe, I start thrusting in that direction that I also want to turn. So when I do that, I sort of transition my momentum to the other way around. Oh, I'm scared. That guy has a Skinner, doesn't he? Not anymore. What am I doing? Like, I'm actually trash. Oh, nice. But yeah, like I said, if you use both strafe and turn at the same time, you're gonna kill so much of your momentum and actually just transition it to the direction that you want to go, which is gonna be... Oh, wow, that's some juicy stuff right there. Nice. Let's see who we have left. There's a dude up here, so let's just want to shout for him. So make that a habit, like I said, make that a habit as soon as you can to use your strafe when you turn, because I see so many people who turns and then they're just making it so awkward for themselves because... Oh, wow. Hello there. Nice. That's another one for me. I'll take it. Thank you. Should we just go to cap? But yeah, you know, if I want to turn here, then I do like that. As you can see, the turning is slow, if you know what I mean. That compared to this, it feels like you're turning in just a normal car when you use strafe and turn at the same time. But it's really just a thing that you have to sort of get used to. Do we see him? Oh, we did a shotgun play. That is interesting. Goblin, I see. Nah. You're not gonna do me like that, bro. There we go. Nice and easy game. But my best advice would just be for you guys to, even if you're struggling with the hovers, just get out there and play around with the hovers. Maybe just do some custom games against bots just to get a feel of how to actually move, because if you play versus players, like, so many players are so unpredictable, and even though you see a full team over there, one might be rushing you and sort of throwing you off, and if you're constantly thrown off, you're never gonna get a good feeling of how this sideways thingy actually works. I'm sort of scared that this dual executioner dude is here. Oh wow, why did I just sit there and stare at him? Nice, I think someone else saw him. Beautiful dude there. And that's why you want to play this hover this way, because, like, as you can see, when this one is so small and tiny and just so freaking fast, that makes you able to just strafe back and forth and really bully your enemies constantly, laying out some good damage on them and then going back. Still want to watch out for that executioner dude, because he can rank us. Go, nice. Ooh. Launch me, puppy. Oh no, that is like, that's our worst enemy though. That is actually our worst enemy. We're still good. We're still Gucci. Oh no 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 no! I hate controlling this. There we go. That's his grenade launcher off. Wait, what are these guys doing? I'm so scared. That's a dual mammoth, isn't it? Yeah, but it is. I think I can't see. Oh, did he have to do that? We got wrecked by that hobby bro in the beginning and the nade launcher, but still, like, we did okay, I feel like. So here we are, and that's your destiny as a sideways hover. If you don't look out, you'll end up looking like a cabin with a frame and nothing else. And you don't want to end up like that. So don't be like me right now. Don't go into people like that. Keep your distance. You're a hover after all. You should just be juking around with people. But we won anyway, so I don't complain. Thank you, Lexus, for carrying me. I appreciate it, bro. But that pretty much covers how to do a simple sideways hover that will get you going with hovers, because I mean, it's a thing that a lot of people hate. A lot of people hate hovers. I hated sideways hovers when before I learned to play them myself, when they were first introduced into the game, and I was like, what the crap? What's it doing, and why is this build facing like that? And yeah, I mean, it's so strong compared to regular hovers, unless you're doing a big brick with 10 or 12 hovers, that I just don't see any alternative to this as of right now. If this was a regular hover, it wouldn't be nearly as strong. We wouldn't be able to mount the guns as well protected as they are now because of the tilt. It's much harder to make a proper hover that is also a non-sideways hover, because all of a sudden the cabin would have such a small profile that the hovers would just be sticking out, like to this side and to that side. So it's just not as good, really, and that's why this is so much better. Like, this piece of hover here is working so much better than a regular hover. Anyways, I hope you could put this to good use. If you could, don't forget to drop a like and maybe drop a subscribe if you want to see more like this. Until next time, guys, have an awesome day. Bye.